All right, let's get after it. All right, tip of the cap, ladies and germs. Welcome. Glad to have you here this evening. Looking forward to tickling your bag from the front to the back and lightly feathering your grundle until you giggle uncontrollably. Thank you for being here. For those who do not already know, grab your ankles, open up your brown eye, because I'm going to send a truth torpedo directly into your lower intestines. Things are going to get weird. I'm going to crank your bag. I'm going to tickle your truth bag, and maybe massage your brain bag a little bit. And the purpose of today's speech, as it were, bag tickling, yelling into literal phone, is I'm going to read perform and read my speech from the Great Northwest Awakening that I just gave in Ridgefield, Washington, this weekend. The speech is about 25 minutes or so, or about 22 minutes or so long. I'm going to be reading it off my screen here, basically exactly as if you had attended the event. It was one of those speeches and one of those events where it's a difficult one to get to because it's out in Ridgefield, Washington. Not everybody that follows along on the channel obviously was able to go. So I figured I would share it all of you here today. We are currently broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, what's the Amazon one? Doesn't even matter. Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram simultaneously. So thank you so much for being here. Without any further ado, I'm going to get right into the speech. I think it's one of those things that is important for this specific time in history. And before I get started on it, I just want to remind everybody that, it's been an interesting month here on the literal planet of actual Earth, and things have been getting really strange. And a lot of people that you would otherwise consider to be awake and based and super tuned in to the truth and what's really going on in the world have just proven themselves to be complete and absolute nutbar six and have just completely lost the plot entirely. And people that I used to think pretty much always had the right take have just gone completely off the deep end. And people have messaged me the most insane things imaginable in the last week and a half because they don't like that I'm not saying the thing that they want me to say when they want me to say it. I'm not a clown. I'm literally not a clown. I don't dance for you, monkey. I dance for myself. So crank my bag, enter my brown eye, unfollow the channel, and kick rocks, Jabron, because I don't really care. I'm not going to get pressured or bullied into saying something that I don't want to say. That's why people like myself yell into my phone here in Privat because I can't hear any pins on the other side of the equation. I could just gagack and then you're dead. So that's what I'm going to do. So spare me, because if you come at me with some stupid shit, I'm just going to literally delete you. I do not actually care. So without any further ado, I'm going to crank your bag here. This is my speech from the Great Northwest Awakening. The title of the speech is I Ruined America. And I chose that speech title because it's hyperbolic, because it'll crank your bag. And you're like, what does that even mean? Who says that? Whom would even say that? How did Bobbert Sasalado ruin America? So without any further ado, let me crank your bag. And thank you all so much for being here. If you want to share the channel with other people, share it, post it to your thing, hit it up to the story, get some people in here. Let's crank some bags. Okay. Begin. How exactly is a complicated situation like modern America solved with a simple solution like uniting patriots? How does one tackle a topic as important, as dire, and as significant as guiding the course of history into something digestible, entertaining, and activating? How does one display enough gratitude for being an American at this moment in history? How does one inspire a person who possesses enough altruism that they'd spend their money and time on a Saturday to be here in this room, here on this live stream, working on this great challenge. How does one do that with just one voice? How does one add more gasoline to a fire that clearly exists in all of us in 30 minutes? Well, you do it just like Joe Biden sniffs kids, one breath at a time. First of all, thank you so much to all of you for coming to the live stream here today, and to each of you watching for your precious time and attention. For those who don't already know, my name is Bobby Sauce, most commonly known on Instagram as @TakeNaps, political comedian, commentator, man who yells in phone, non-birthing person, oppressor, colonizer, melanin challenged member of the patriarchy, cisgender, he, him, binary, human person, and American citizen. So why am I here? I made a video on Instagram in 2020 about how former Lolita Express frequent flyer Bill Clinton, aka Billy the Diddler, had the audacity to suggest at the 2020 Democratic National Convention that one Donald J. Ballgame didn't exhibit the proper conduct fit for the highest office in the land. Interesting. Just in case you forgot, former President Diddler and current lizard person Billy the Diddler Clinton got his knob slobbed in the Oval Office from a subordinate and lied to the world about it. So the unfit for office comment just doesn't hit the same coming from Diddler. It would be more meaningful coming from literally any other human person. By the way, Bill, what happened in Haiti with all that hurricane relief money? Why did you and Jeffrey Epstein go to Africa, you creepazoid weirdo? We know what you did. I digress. I said this to a room of people. That video I posted on my Instagram to my 900 followers accumulated 60,000 views overnight. And just like that, a frustrated citizen venting into his phone was able to reach millions of people. Since then, I've created over 2,000 comedic and occasionally insightful videos, primarily on politics, economics, and world affairs, garnering tens of millions of views, a social media audience in the hundreds of thousands, appearances on high-profile podcasts. I became a Turning Point USA ambassador, and I started doing stand-up comedy. I often say that comedy is the Trojan horse for the truth, and throughout history, it was only the jester who could speak truth to power and escape with their life. I once heard Seth Dillon of the Babylon Bee say, "Make them laugh, and when their mouth is open, pour the truth in." So I'm going to try to make you laugh, make you think, and leave you encouraged to take action. Now, obviously, everything is stupid. The world is on fire, and our great nation appears to be devolving into an unlivable hellscape. So where are we at now? Where are we going? How do we get there? And what is our role in turning this hot garbage inferno around? So first, let's start with where we are now. The ghost of slow Biden, 10% to the big guy, why did you shower with your daughter, you weirdo, has his diapers brimming with porridge. So we know that he is not controlling anything. But his handlers, the international banking cartels, and the shadowy demons at the top of the world's largest multinational conglomerates aren't letting him get in the way of destroying the last of our great nation and the morale of its most ardent defenders. So let's state the obvious. We are at war. Swiss cheese southern border, 33 trillion in debt and growing, hundreds of thousands of military-age men pouring into the country illegally. An endless proxy war in Ukraine with a nuclear power, 73,000 fentanyl overdose deaths per year. Incompetent and incontinent elderly demons hobbling through the halls of power. I love that. I love that line. Incompetent and incontinent. That's just good writing. That's showbiz, baby. Here we go. At this point, it's inconceivable to believe that they aren't trying to intentionally destroy America. They're poisoning us with unhealthy food, seed oils, processed foods, and high fructose corn syrup. They're exposing our bodies to toxic chemicals and deteriorating our mind with pharmaceutical products, pill-based non-solutions, and 24/7 propaganda. There's a relentless campaign to destroy our freedom, health, independence, free market capitalism, American exceptionalism, patriotism, and the nuclear family. They hate us. They hate America. They're laughing in our face, and they're getting away with it for now. All we have to do is look around. They hide in plain sight. Pennsylvania, for example, has a U.S. senator about as equipped for the job as a bag of meat. They basically grabbed a bunch of expired sirloins, rolled them up in a Carhartt sweatshirt, and catapulted them into the U.S. Capitol. This literal bag of meat in loungewear, whom I affectionately refer to as Feder beef, is not with us. He presided over the Senate in outfits I'd be embarrassed to wear to the gas station. This is a state senator. So if you ever thought you didn't have the chops to make it in this world, think Feder beef. Chops. I'm doing it. Now here's a local reference for the people in Washington, Oregon. Former Oregon Governor Kate Steaming Hot Brown wore a bedazzled Corona Clap face diaper with a snow globe in it and posted a photo to the internet. Big mistake. She tweeted, "Ugly holiday masks are a very 2020 spin on ugly holiday sweaters." Shut up, Kate! Kate Brown is like if a wooden doll of a librarian came to life but had water damage. She is a soggy Pinocchio librarian water demon. Look her up. That's accurate. Soggy Pinocchio to life, soggy water demon. Anyways, literal fossil from a bygone era and China-enriched dirt merchant Dianne Feinstein, rest in peace, was 150 years old when she melted in office. She cast a vote on a spending bill hours before she died. What the hell is even that? They wheeled her back into the Capitol after being out for months, and she didn't even remember being gone. Dianne Feinstein was on the committee tasked with regulating artificial intelligence when she barely had any real intelligence left. This is not leadership, and they won't stop rubbing it in our face. I am tired of listening to flip-flopping liars in both parties, beating the war drums and pushing us into further into foreign wars and deeper into debt. I'm tired of listening to soggy demon warhawks like Lady G, Lindsey Graham Cracker, a literal human seed oil, and career politician liars like dusty, poor-postured owl Chuck Schumer. Pretend like they have a solution when they've been destroying our country for decades. Did you catch that? Dusty, poor-postured owl Chuck Schumer. That's good. Anyhow, look him up. Give it a giggle. Dusty, poor-postured owl. It's true. He's leaning. He's an owl. Anyways, I'm tired of listening to octogenarian members of Congress push socialism like it has ever worked ever. I'm sick of watching melted turtle Mitch McConnell have a brain aneurysm on television and get escorted off stage like it's no big deal. Kind of like that one time New York Representative Jerry Nadler pooped his pants during a press conference and slithered off stage like it wasn't on film. At least Poopy Pants Nadler had the decency to walk off stage on his own. Google Jerry Nadler poops his pants after the stream. Literally, that happened. He was like, oh, man. That's funny. That really happened. Google, Jerry Nadler poops his pants. So we are unwell. And this inadequate leadership proves that the desire for power outweighs all else. And those who seek to keep it indefinitely will stop at nothing unless we take action and change course. Even one of the last good things we had, they tried to take away. Tucker Carlson. They briefly took Tucker Carlson from us when they fired him from Fox News. Firing Tucker proves that the desire for power supersedes even money. And ending the most successful political news show in history is a perfect example of this. Now, I'm so thankful that Tucker is back creating content on Twitter, but it's just not the same without those Fox News commercials. You'd be watching his show and he'd be like, and that's why the radical left wants to make your kids gay. And now, a word from our sponsors. Hey, Patriots. I played a cop on television 25 years ago. Do you have back pain? Gout? 20 pounds overweight? Sick of your nagging wife? Well, you need balance of nature. Just take a handful of these magical gummies and stuff them up your dirt star. You'll feel young again. Next commercial will come on. Hey, Patriots. I'm former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. Do you have back pain? Gout? 20 pounds overweight? Sick of your nagging wife? Well, you need Relief Factor. Just get a nice handful of Relief Factor and stuff it up your balloon knot. You'll feel young again. Oh, I used to love those Fox News commercials. It makes you wonder what left-wing commercials would look like. Now, I haven't been watching much CNN lately, but I imagine it would go something like this. Hey, comrades. Do you hate America? Are you sad, depressed, lonely? Do you have back pain, gout, 100 pounds overweight? Well, I have the solution for you. Cut your dick off. You can be a woman. Just cut off that pesky dick. You could be a professional swimmer or a bodybuilder. People will think you're better than them. Oh! Oh my God. All right. So cut your dick off. Yo, that made the room erupt. I did six stand-up comedy shows live in person that said that line, and then I did it at the Florida Young Republicans Gala, and then I did it at this event, and it crushes every time. All right. So who do we blame for a broken America, and how do we fix it? Although the easiest position is to blame everything on the left, the right, the system, or the international banking cartels that run the world, who I really blame is me. There's a book by former Navy SEAL Jocko Willink called Extreme Ownership, where he outlines the concept that a true leader recognizes that it doesn't matter where in the chain of command something went wrong, the fault ultimately runs to the top. When a real leader doesn't shift the blame upon anyone but themselves, they gain the respect of all positions in the structure, all members of the team. Well, our team is America. And if we are to exhibit extreme ownership and be leaders, we must blame ourselves. It's not the bought and paid for Operation Mockingbird media. It's not the president of the United States. It's not the multitude of factions fighting for the power to control the world since the dawn of time. It's each of us. It's me. It's what we are willing to tolerate without executing a meaningful strategy to change it. One faction of the progressive leftist movement will say things like blame the police, blame corporations, blame capitalism. And the right will say things like blame godlessness, blame Democrats, blame open borders, blame reckless spending. And although there's certainly a bit of truth to all of it, both the left and the right usually use the exact same strategies to convince their constituents that they have the answer. They just use different talking points. Elect me, cut taxes, make it how it used to be. And although these are clearly much more significant steps forward than anything that generally comes from the political left, they are still far from a real solution. John F. Kennedy famously reminded us that it's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. But it's actually even beyond that. If we're thinking big picture, it's not what mankind can do for you, it's what you can do for mankind. As individuals, we truly are capable of that level of impact. Now, the reason that I say blame me for the mess that we're in is because all I can control is me. All you can control is you. I can be healthier. I can be smarter. I can be more intentional with my words, with my money, with my time. I can be better, and only I can fix that. Because sometimes the problem is complicated, but the answers are simple. In a speech you can watch on my YouTube channel called the Bobby Sauce Gettysburg Address, I said all great individuals were once a seemingly insignificant average Joe who decided to be great, who decided to do great things. Because it's the individual who sets the pace, who sets the tone, who sets the bar for others to reach. I'm reminded of the story of Sir Roger Bannister, the first man to ever run a mile in under 4 minutes. Until he accomplished this feat in 1954, many believed it to be impossible. Only 46 days later, his world record was broken. And over the following years, many more people ran the 4-minute mile after Sir Roger Bannister for a very simple reason. They believed it could be done. Think about that. Nobody ran a 4-minute mile until 1954, and then 46 days later, somebody broke his record because they believed it could be done. Last week, the Chicago Marathon was completed in 2 hours and 35 seconds, an average pace of 4 minutes and 36 seconds per mile for 26 miles straight. That was last week. Now, these feats are nothing more than a reminder that seemingly impossible tasks that many are quick to doubt possible are interrupted by those who do them. It's common to wonder, what difference will one person make to help unify America? One person making any significant impact seems impossible until people start doing it, each in their own unique way. And so many already are. The question is, will you? The 7-foot man saves the cat from the tree. The 5-foot man saves the cat from the crawl space. Both people have equal significance and their own role to play. Find your strengths, lean into them, and get involved. Because the truth is, uniting people of Earth, America, uniting states, towns, communities, families, lies in the day-to-day words, beliefs, and actions of each of us, leading by example with our intent, our follow-through, our genuine desire to be better as individuals and to leave the world a better place. There's a lie that we tell ourselves about how bad the world is, and that there's nothing that little old me could do to change it. We'll do what we can here and there, but it seems inconsequential in the whole scheme of things. We see that the country needs us, but we're unsure how to measure if we're making an impact. When the weight of solving the world's problems leads to an inevitable burnout, some will get discouraged and stop paying attention entirely. But others will repeat this cycle over and over again as they feel bombarded by the guilt of inaction and the desire to be useful. They'll get involved here and there, and they'll get involved here and there until they're overwhelmed. And then they'll say, man, I got to focus on myself. What I continue to discover is that the correct approach is actually the opposite. You focus on yourself first, and then the external problems start to solve themselves. Every great step forward I've ever found has come as a result of trying to better myself. The lack of unity in our world is not a problem to be solved externally, but rather a discipline to be instilled internally. The conquering of the self. This is where the foundation of unity begins. My friend Andy Frisella says, personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion. That, my friends, is the solution. Personal excellence is more sustainable long-term because it's a way of life. It has more longevity, and interestingly enough, it has more impact. The late Andrew Breitbart famously said, politics is downstream from culture. Well, culture is downstream from personal excellence. Culture is downstream from self-improvement. Culture is downstream from family. Culture is downstream from integrity. Culture is downstream from gratitude. And all of these things are downstream from belief. If we believe in ourselves and our capacity to make a difference, if we strive for personal excellence, we shape the culture, we shape the politics. Patriots are often asked why they care so much, and we always wonder why they care so little. I attribute their passive approach to this dire situation not as a lack of care, but as the absence of belief. Let me say that again. Patriots are often asked why they care so much, and we always wonder why they care so little. I attribute their passive approach to this dire situation not as a lack of care, but as the absence of belief. They need examples. They need leadership. They need to see you thriving, you winning, caring, growing, and believing. What becomes clearer to me every day is that the example that we set supersedes even our words. By focusing on what we need to do to improve, the external problems solve themselves. Because a healthy person doesn't need as many health experts. An inspired person doesn't need stimulation. A fulfilled person doesn't need excess. A financially literate person doesn't need a handout. A results-driven person doesn't need a bureaucracy to solve all their problems. And a unified community of leaders doesn't need anyone but each other to thrive. This is why our greatest act of defiance to tyrants and our greatest catalyst to unity and a better world is to be the best version of ourselves. My dad once told me the cumulative effect of moving an inch a day, every day, is more significant than moving several feet at a time once in a while. The path to unity and the path to freedom is an inch a day. One person, one mind, one voice, one continuous effort every day. Because success is contagious. Success requires discipline. Discipline requires repetition. Repetition creates habits. Habits create skills. Skills create qualities. Qualities create leaders, and leaders create change. The belief that your effort is needed, your ongoing quest for personal excellence will be noticed and followed. Your contribution is valuable, and the belief that you alone can play an integral role in uniting people will, in fact, change the world, and is the only thing that ever has. And if all else fails, you could always just cut your dick off. That's the speech. I'm going to say that last line again. The belief that your effort is needed, your ongoing quest for personal excellence will be noticed and followed. Your contribution is valuable, and the belief that you alone can play an integral role in uniting people will, in fact, change the world, and is the only thing that ever has. And I did say that, and if all else fails, you could always just cut your dick off. That's the speech. Thank you guys so much for watching that. Listen, I think that the crux of the story, the crux of what I'm trying to say by this is that I feel this intense pressure to tell people something that will truly benefit them and will truly benefit the world at large. If anyone will look in my direction for any piece of information, I feel this obligation to say something that really matters. And after all of this time trying to figure out what it is that's the greatest thing that we could do, what message could I leave somebody with that they could actually use and go apply, this is the message. Every single thing that I try to figure out always comes back to the same exact thing. It's like, when you focus on being excellent, when you focus on your personal excellence, it solves all of the problems on its own. It's like, if you're sad, if you're upset, if you're lonely, if you're feeling like you're not operating at the highest speed, if you feel like your money's not right, or your time is not right, or the people around you is not right, the only thing that you ever should do is work on bettering yourself. It's like, go to the gym. Every single solution, the solution to almost every single problem I've ever encountered is go to the gym, go and exercise. It's like, when you exercise, you think about the problems a little bit differently. You leave knowing that you benefited yourself. You watch yourself have the discipline to make a choice that's only going to leave you better on the way out. And it's like, when you go and make that decision, instead of being overwhelmed by the weight of the world, it's like, oh, now I'm a little bit healthier. Now I'm going to change the food that I eat today. Now I'm going to go to sleep a little bit earlier. Now it's like, maybe that person that I thought needed to be in my life doesn't need to be in my life. You bettering yourself shows you that you are trying to make a change. And that in and of itself will benefit all of the external stuff. It's like, imagine walking into a room and giving a speech like this and being 500 pounds overweight, being obese, being sloppy, having your shirt untucked, have a pizza stain on your shirt. It's like, just pursuing the personal excellence makes the message hit further. So it's like, if you want to solve all of the world's problems, just be the best version of yourself. Because every person in this chat, including myself, has blind spots, has spots where you are not operating at the best that you can. One thing that I decided to do lately is start drinking water out of glass. A small, seemingly insignificant change in my life that to me is beneficial. No PFAs, no microplastics in the water, a small change that required money and effort and time and thought to do. And here it is. Water is getting better. Now I see myself drinking the glass out of the water. Now I'm like, okay, my soap has some poison in it. What about what else in the house has poison in it? Maybe I get that little snack pack on the plane. It's got seed oils in it. Maybe I'm not going to eat that. These small individual changes compiled over time are really what changes the world, because me being better means that my message is better. It's sharper. It's more on point, and I can give you more value. And the same will go for you in your life. Your kids will see you doing it. Your friends will see you doing it. The people around you will see you doing it. And here's another thing. Other people that are doing it will be there doing it while you're doing it. And those are the types of people that you want to be associated with. People that are pursuing the highest and best version of themselves. And all of the greatest things that I've learned have come during that time when I've been doing that. It's like, You go to the gym and listen to music, listen to an audiobook, listen to Audible, listen to a YouTube video about how to get financially free. It's like, if people just realize that getting their own money in line helps other people get their money in line, because people are going to start asking you, how did you get that? How did you get there? How are you healthy like that? How are you happy all the time? How are you whatever? And they're going to start following you and respecting you. And ultimately, that is how the message gets distributed faster. If I was just out here sucking and declining and you could see it objectively, you wouldn't take my message as seriously. I always got to be getting better. The quality of the videos got to get better. The quality of the content's got to get better. The way that I move, the way that I talk, the way that I address each individual take has to constantly be improving. And my message will hit and go way further as a result of me pursuing my own personal excellence, and this message being enhanced as a result of that. And this is just one person. Imagine how it looks to your kids. Imagine how it looks to your friends. Imagine how it looks to your coworkers, that instead of going out to drink after work, you go home or you go to the gym. That instead of having pizza in the office lunch, you have a salad or whatever. You understand. It's like, you don't have to say anything to somebody to say something to somebody. It's the act, the following, it's the tone setting. You know, I look at somebody like Andy Frisella, whom I am rocking here and think about often and mention in the speech. And it's like, here's a guy that's probably worth hundreds upon hundreds of millions of dollars, has a beautiful wife, a great family, a successful business that's thriving. And you know what this dude does when he wakes up in the morning? Puts on a ruck and goes and rucks for an hour, and then goes to the gym, and then runs a successful business, and then comes on here and talks about America. It's like, that's the type of leadership where he doesn't have to say anything to me. He just has to do it, and I can see it. And his message hits that much harder and goes that much deeper as a result of the tone that he sets and the example that he sets and the work ethic that he exhibits, far more than anything that he could ever tell me. Even if he was to pull me aside and say it straight into my face hole, it would not impact me and anyone else as much as watching somebody else do the work, thrive, and succeed. That is the message. So it's like, I'm out here, and all of us, we get mad at like Democrats, we get mad at these leftists, we get mad at people squealing and squirming and going absolutely nuts. And it's like, how do you solve these things? How do you get these people to come to your side of things? If you're just being great, doing great, sooner or later, these people that are just soggy and wiry and squirrely and powered by seed oils and sadness, they're going to be like, I'm sick of this. You know, it's like, I'm sick of my girlfriend having armpit hair. I'm sick of being like a soggy, squirrely loser. I'm sick of like, I'm sick of like being in a social situation, and I'm just like the hunchback of Chuck Schumer. And I'm just like a squirrely goober loser, and like the only people of the opposite sex I can attract are like soggy, wiry, like soy people. So it's like, all of these things are just going to come into play as time goes on, where it's like, if you are pursuing the personal excellence and you have the right message and you keep striving to be better, your message will stand the test of time and will be far more impactful and far more and get far more distribution than anything that you could ever say. And that's what I've been realizing lately. So it's like, if I'm struggling with something, if I feel like the message isn't hitting, exercise harder. Go out and go for a walk. Go and figure out how to change make sure that I don't have the wrong food in the refrigerator. That's the type of stuff that I used to overlook, where it's like, how is this really as important as getting the message out? And interestingly enough, a funny story, you know, when I first started making videos, it was a couple months in that I realized that if I woke up at 10 o'clock and I wanted to fire out a video before noon, so I could get a message out for the day before I went to the gym. And I would often find myself sitting here in this office, right in this chair here, trying to find what the video topic was of the day. And I would put off the gym for an hour and a half while I tried to figure out what to make the video topic about. And then I would make the video topic, and then I would go to the gym. And I was always delayed. It was like, that was my process. Well, there was a day that I woke up and I said, I got to go to the gym first. I need to prioritize myself. I need to prioritize the gym over the message. And I'll do the message later, because I am what's most important, that I'm the one that needs to be delivering this in a way that, you know, has to prioritize myself first, or the message won't hit. Interestingly enough, the videos that I started making in my car on the way to the gym became some of the most successful and far-reaching videos that I ever made, because I was choosing to do the act of success. I was choosing the path of self-improvement. By simply choosing it, I knew I only got 23 minutes until I get to the gym. I got to make this video and fire it off, or I'm at the gym. So there was a time pressure. There was the knowledge that I knew that I had the discipline to go make the right decision, and I prioritized myself over my work. And as a result, the work got better. It was an interesting lesson that I learned early on that's easy for a lot of people to forget. And I've also started prioritizing things like getting sun and going to the beach every day and not working in that time frame. But instead, the thoughts that I get while I'm at the beach help me write speeches like this. This speech, a lot of it was written while I was walking and while I was sitting at the beach after I go to the gym, just staring into nothingness. The best work that I got done was on the other side of choosing self-improvement, the bettering of the self. That's the message. That's the message. So it's like when you feel overwhelmed by the weight of the world and all of this stuff and all these people just going absolutely nut bar six and getting squirrely and writing you spicy things in your comments and sending you mean messages and whatnot about how they want you to do X, Y, or Z, just know that these people are not choosing personal excellence. These people are not doing the thing that is absolutely necessary in order for whatever they think that they're doing to really hit with any level of depth. So, one of my favorite quotes is, words are like sunbeams. The more they are condensed, the deeper they burn. One of my favorite quotes of all time. And it's like, think about what that means. So it's like, you don't have to say a lot to say a lot. You could condense it to just the things that matter and it'll burn deeper. The same thing goes with pursuing this path of personal excellence. It's like, you can say a lot more than you could ever say with words by just doing and setting the tone and setting the example. So that's the lesson. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks to everybody that bought the badges. I really appreciate it. Thanks to Golan, Jen, Dawn Maureen, Dalman, Michelle, Lana Liberty, Jenna Rose, The Man's Jess, and Carlos NYC Bus. I really appreciate the badges on Instagram. Thank you so much for the support. But guys, this is the thing. This is what it's all about, right? After I get off the stream, I just got back from the gym. It's like, what am I going to do with the rest of the time? You know what I should do? I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to strap on the vest. I'm going to go bang out a walk. And while I'm out on the walk, I'll probably be able to make a video because I had to practice what I preach. And even though I'm just getting back from a thing that was obviously bettering myself, imagine the double up. Imagine the brain juice that comes as a result of watching yourself have the discipline. And not only watch yourself have the discipline, but watching how the execution of the things that you need to do play out over time. Because I am realizing that in order for my message to get better, in order for every single thing that I'm doing on here to be more impactful, I have to be better myself personally. My dad told me one time this great quote that I think about often. He said, be careful what you say because you are listening. So it's like, part 2 of that is be careful what you do because you are watching. That's my add onto that very, very powerful quote. So it's like, and Andy has alluded to this a number of times on his podcast and in all of his stuff. It's like, you watching yourself have the discipline to make the right decisions. You watching yourself being a good person and cutting people out of your life that don't need to be there and welcoming people into your life that should be there, people that are excelling and helping you become the better version of yourself. And you watching yourself bring other people along, have the right intentions, not lie, not be a demon, not cave because some soggy beanbag wants to message you some squirrely stuff about how they think you should jump off a bridge or whatever, which actually happened to me this week. You being strong in your center and knowing that you're doing the best that you can in all of the aspects of your life makes those things not matter. I could have 5,000 people tell me to jump off a bridge because I'm strong in my center, that I don't care. It's an unsinkable ship. You can't sink my ship. It doesn't matter how crazy the waves get, because I know that I'm going in the direction that I need to go. I know that I'm following the path I need to follow. I'm pursuing the personal excellence every day to the best of my abilities. And if I choose to do that all the time, the message will get better. I will get better. The people around me will get better. The experiences I choose to bring into my life will get better. I'll be more careful about what I do because I'm watching. I'll be more careful about what I say because I'm listening. That's the message. That's the game. Go out and get it. Go for a walk. Put on the weighted vest. Clap some cheeks. Thank you guys for being here. Words are like sunbeams. The more they are condensed, the deeper they burn. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go for a walk. You probably should too. Thanks for being here. All right, y'all. Peace out. Much love.